Production support for the weekly special is provided by Smithville, a locally owned business serving central and southern Indiana since 1922, with residential and business internet, voice, and security services. Smithville, local pride, global technology. Information at smithville.net. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
We are out of the studio and on location at Super Bowl 46. On tonight's show, we'll visit the Hoosiers behind the scenes as they prepare for the big game. From art to food, we'll find out what it takes to host the biggest game of the year. We'll also talk to the Hoosiers that are making a difference on and off the football field. It's all here right now on the weekly specials Super Bowl Spectacular. Welcome to the weekly special. I'm Pam Thrash.
And I'm Joan, and this show is all about the Super Bowl. We're here at Bankers Light Fieldhouse in Super City, where Tony Dungy and hundreds of volunteers are serving up some Hoosier hospitality for the big game.
Yeah, and you know, as people from all over the world are arriving, Indianapolis has been transformed, but for some Hoosiers, preparation began months ago.
That's right, the weekly special traveled to Noblesville to meet a sculptor who's helping to welcome all these visitors to Indianapolis.
One Noblesville artist got the surprise of a lifetime when she was selected to create football sculptures for downtown Indianapolis's Super Bowl displays.
I'm Joan Drizin, and I own Girly Steel, and I've been a metal artist for 16 years now. You know, I've tried all kinds of mediums, and this one just was it for me. I was pretty bad at it in the beginning. I learned how to stick weld, and that was very difficult. But once I got it, and then moved on to MIG welding. And you know, if you're doing it all day long, it gets easier. The 4 ideas originally, they just wanted 4, and then I was supposed to repeat the designs for a total of 20. But after we got everything okayed, I had given them sketches, and they said, it's a go, but do what you want. And I said, well, if I come up with more ideas, do I have to run them by you? And they said, no, they trusted me and just go with it. And I wound up doing, I would say, about 17 different designs and only having to repeat 3 of them. So it's like, once I started working on them, the ideas kept coming. I started with the top of the football and then worked on the base because I wanted to incorporate the design that was in the football into the base, so they kind of matched up. I just look at plants and the way they're made and their shapes, and I like to play off of those and think, mostly I like to think how it looks in the landscape in the wintertime, because everything else is dead, and I think your sculpture just makes it alive. And I think it's what we want to show to all the visitors is that Indianapolis is an up-and-coming city, and there's a lot of art to enjoy. There's a lot to do in Indianapolis, and it's not all about racing. So I think that's what the city wants to show, and I hope we did that. You're feeling stressed, you just come into the studio and start banging on the metal or welding, and it takes it all away. It's the creative process. That's the stress reliever. I think the mechanics of actually doing the work and banging on the metal and cutting the metal and maybe perhaps the danger of the fire. I think that's probably like the biggest turn on for me. You'd be surprised how many women there are doing it. A lot of people think it's a manly thing, but really it gives you sort of a power, I think. I think that's the attraction for women. It's like, yeah, I can do that. And for teenagers too. I teach teenagers, and it gives them self-confidence. I think that's what's good. Definitely, it's empowerment and creative. Yeah, a lot of freedom, so.
If you'd like to see more of Girly Steel's creation, visit girlysteel.com.
As the big game looms, local restaurants are in a flurry as they face the challenge of over 100,000 Super Bowl visitors.
And if there's anyone that knows how to do it, it's the Super Street Food Champions. Now the weekly special joined the crew of the Dashboard Diner to find out what it takes to feed all these hungry football fans.
Hello, my name's Jeff Edwards, and this is Edwards Drive-In and the Dashboard Diner. Edwards Drive-In started in 1957 as a Dog and Suds. In 1972, we went independent and took the family name of Edwards Drive-In. We offer the breaded tenderloin, which is the most featured sandwich in Indiana, and that's what we specialize in. That along with our hand-dipped onion rings and our root beer, which is homemade here in the restaurant. I think what makes us unique is the fact that we're bringing 54 years of restaurant experience to the streets of Indianapolis. For a long time, people have asked us to build restaurants throughout the community on different sides of Indianapolis. And this was the best way for us to put another location anywhere in the city of Indianapolis. We'll be able to take care of the people here in town on any given day at any location. I wanted to do a truck like no other. You know, putting it together over the 3.5 months it took us to put it together, how the equipment's set in there and all that stuff was all us. It was all original design, original work, original custom stainless work, the whole bit. Our ultimate goal was to compete in the competition for the Super Bowl. And that showdown was in October the 28th. We competed along with, I think, 14 other trucks on downtown at the city market. And that was our first major affair with the truck and the technology. And as we had hoped, everything went well, and we actually won that competition, received a nice little trophy from the Super Bowl people, and had word then that we were going to be able to participate in the Super Bowl, which was the whole idea of building the truck, was trying to build it for the Super Bowl. One of the other vendors said, you know, how are you guys gearing up for this? And I said, well, we've been preparing for 2 weeks already, and now we're about 4 or 5 weeks ago, we started hand breading our tenderloins then, and we needed to be at an inventory of about 20,000 was where we thought we were going to have to be. We're about 5,000 or 6,000 in. We think that's going to carry us. We aren't exactly sure yet, but you know, based on the numbers we've sold, that preparation started 5 weeks ago. Our breaded tenderloin's been well known in Indianapolis. It's won a lot of awards. It is the Hoosier sandwich, and we knew that it would make great representation for the Super Bowl to have the opportunity to have a breaded tenderloin. My dad, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's about 10 years ago. And my dad was he put me here. He put the restaurant in my hands. He taught me everything I know. And this restaurant was his life. Supporting the community and doing all those things for the community. And working with him every day, I learned so much about that with this, I guess, level or pedestal or however you want to put it, the recognition that we've received now through national television and shows like yourself and other shows is the icing on the cake. And, you know, I dearly wish that he could see and truly understand what's happened. And I know he knows. I mean, I know in his heart he knows, but it would just be lovely to be able to share that, you know? So, you know, it's not so much for me about how much business we do, it's how much enjoyment people have experiencing what the Dashboard Diner has to offer.
While Hoosiers outside the stadium are making the Super Bowl one to remember, our very own Marching 100 is entertaining inside.
That's right, the Indiana University famed Marching 100 is going to be performing in the pregame show, and the weekly special was there as they practiced.
I think every band, especially in the Big Ten, has a very unique background. I think one of the things that we're very proud about is that we coexist in the Jacobs School of Music, which is one of the best, if not the best, schools of music in the country. But we do have our own traditions and spirit that other schools don't. And we just think that playing here at IU is such a wonderful town. It's a great university, great research university. So I think all those things mix to make the Marching 100 a really special group.
It's just an electric atmosphere. Each individual person creates such an impact on the 100 that you create an instant family with 300 people. And so while you're coming into a world completely unknown as a freshman, by the first week you have 300 family members that you can depend on for anything.
On or around December 1st of 2011, I received a phone call from a gentleman who worked in the NFL offices, and he had heard about us from the Colts, that we were a marching band that could come in and do a very quick show and get out of the way very fast. And he said that they're looking for a band to do that at the Super Bowl. We'd have about 6 minutes to do our show, and wondered if we were interested in doing that. And of course, for a band like ours that doesn't get a whole lot of national notoriety, it was an immediate yes from us, because this literally is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But then I guess the band director and me started to think about logistics. Then you start to think about, well, what show are we going to do? How many buses do we need? You know, how are we going to eat? Where do the kids rehearse? You start thinking about all of those things. But when I first heard about it, I told my associate, and we were both very excited about it. And then Eric and I decided to wait until the band banquet, which was just a few days later, to let the entire band know about it.
I was at a table with some of my closest friends and actually next year's drum majors, and hearing the band erupt, that's the only way to describe what the room sounded like. I just sat in silence. I was just completely stunned. Completely stunned.
Well, the idea that they had for us was they wanted us to do something that was very much Indiana-ish. They wanted us to do something that was sort of Middle America Hoosier-ish. And so we found out quickly that they wanted us to involve John Mellencamp's music. And so once we got that out of the way, we're now playing ROCK in the USA, one of his big hits. And then we're going to close our show with Sing, 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 which has been a tradition of this band since the 1970s. So we're trying to put together a show that shows what we do week in and week out, knowing that once we walk out of that door, this is the biggest sporting event in the history of sports. This is it. And the fact that we're going to be actually on that stage, on that field, literally a half hour before Eli Manning's going to be there and all the great players are going to be there, I think it'll just be a rush that's indescribable. That's what I think is going to happen.
Walking into Lucas Oil and seeing the house packed, seeing all the lights, all the cameras, it's going to be just an amazing experience. And it's shocking to walk onto an NFL field just because of the size and the grandeur of everything. But really having all eyes on you, those 6 minutes are going to be something that's going to stay with us for the rest of our lives.
I think it's going to feel unreal, and I think when we get off the field, the first thing we're going to say is, wait, did that already happen? Like, is it over already? I think it's just going to go like a flash of lightning, but it's just going to be the best 5-6 minutes of our performing careers.
I'm looking forward to running out of the tunnel at Lucas Oil and just seeing the crowd, just seeing the electric energy that the crowd gives. That's what I'm most looking forward to. That and the starting whistle. Performing is the biggest adrenaline rush in the whole world, and I get to do it at the Super Bowl, the biggest football event in the world, and you can't top that. My goal for every game was to never drop and to be exciting and to connect with at least one person in the audience, and I just hope with the Super Bowl that I can do just that. I can go out and do a great job and be entertaining and lead my comrades the best of my ability.
Well, I think that Indiana University, the state of Indiana, lots of core values in our state. We have a great work ethic, I think, in Indiana, and I want the people outside of Indiana, to see that we are hardworking, good folks, that we have a great amount of fun, we work very, very hard, but we are just as entertaining as any band you might find in New York or California. We just happen to be right here in the middle of America. So we just wanted to see how much we can support and entertain everyone. That's kind of our goal.
You know, IU will not be the only university represented in the Super Bowl. Purdue's head athletic trainer will actually be watching the game from a booth.
You know, and after recent events, the NFL instituted a policy of having an independent certified trainer up in the press box to monitor for head injuries.
Yes, and Purdue is not just helping the football players of today, they're also helping the football players of tomorrow. The weekly special went to Purdue to find out about their groundbreaking research.
As part of the Purdue Neurotrauma Group, my main focus is on the biomechanics and how people hurt themselves, and ultimately what can we do to either prevent those injuries or regenerate damaged cells. And at the same time, Larry Leverins in health and kinesiology and Tom Talavage in electrical and computer engineering he does mostly neuroimaging kind of stuff. We're all kind of thinking the same thing. We were all very curious about, well, why does one kid get a concussion and another kid who takes a very similar hit is fine? And that was really the question we were trying to go after. So we started working with a local high school football team, actually Tom's alma mater. They are all willing to wear the sensors in their helmets. And then we started bringing them back. Our goal was to bring them back. We'd say when one person got a concussion, we'd bring back somebody else, bring them back and bring back somebody else that had a similar pattern of hits. And I think we're about 5 weeks in and we didn't have any concussions. And so we're just kind of sitting around thinking, we'd really like to image somebody. We'd like to figure out what's going on. So we started just bringing kids in, and we started to see that there were a lot of neurophysiological changes even without symptoms. And that was really, you know, based on what we were initially trying to do, is a little bit different. But so in some sense we got a little bit lucky that we were able to find it. But I think most of that was due to the fact that Tom and Larry were doing some really, really careful assessments. Having the preseason baseline was unbelievably valuable, and being able to compare a player in season versus their preseason scan, nobody else has data like that.
It hit me from two angles. Number one, how are we teaching this, but more importantly, what's actually going on the field? The problem was that in the diagnosed concussion, it's a recognizable entity. We pull those players off the field, we give them rest, we evaluate their symptoms, and they're not put back on the field until it's safe for them to do so. With these subconcussive problems, the thing that happens is that they stay on the field. Therefore, they keep on playing, they keep receiving blows to the head. We just need to somehow get our players to, and our coaches and parents to think about how to play smart, how to just tweak their technique just a little bit. And I think certainly that's the technique that we're keying in on, is how do you move that head, how do you block with the shoulder, you tackle with the body, and teaching just a little bit better technique. I think we can affect an awful lot of what's going on. When I talk to groups, I always make the statement that you know, when was the last time you heard anyone talk about that was a great tackle, that was a great block? It's always that was a great hit. And that's the kind of mentality I think that we need to change and get back to good, solid football technique, as opposed to just running into two bodies running into each other and plastic cracking on the sidelines.
Not only are Hoosiers giving back to football, they are helping football give back.
We are just at one of many of the events that are happening across the state, where volunteers are sharing some Hoosier hospitality to those across the nation.
Hi, my name is Shannon Morris, and I was asked to chair the volunteer effort today. Baskets of Hope is a wonderful organization that Tony Dungy actually brought to Indianapolis. It's an organization that's helped make this happen and helped us connect with all the NFL cities across the country so that we could then deliver these baskets across the country. So basically today, we're 1,000 volunteers building 7,000 baskets. We've had 250,000 items donated, mostly from Indiana companies. And what we're trying to do is represent Indiana as we are kind of Hoosier hospitality. And Riley Hospital decided to give a gift nationally and make an impact nationally, you know, with our opportunity to have the Super Bowl and showcase what Riley Hospital is. And the Child Life Department specifically basically brings the NFL teams in, and these baskets are delivered to these children, and then it, you know, just lightens up their life, and this is one aspect of that. And so we're hoping that these hospitals across the country, the 32 hospitals, the early cities, and the NFL players help proliferate this program so that it happens nationally. And we started here in Indianapolis, and it's this pay it forward concept, and we hope that other cities are challenged to do the same.
2 weeks after I turned 16, 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia and actually spent 9 months at Riley Hospital for Children. And I received a basket of hope when I was up on the cancer unit at Riley. Just knowing that people from the outside cared enough to take that time and that effort to put something together that affected my family and I during that difficult time really meant a lot. Got here at 5:30, helped take the stuff off the trucks, all the different things that are going into the baskets, and kind of got the boxes sent out to where they're supposed to be. That way the volunteers can take those things and put them into the baskets. Yeah, I actually brought 30 of my football teammates, juniors and seniors, and they're also all out here helping. Being here today and seeing all the different groups come together to help people that they don't even know, it really shows the people that we have here in Indiana. Using this big stage of the Super Bowl to help people all across the country really makes me proud to be a Hoosier.
We were lucky enough to come to Riley when Olivia was 3 months old. She was diagnosed with bilateral retinoblastoma, which is a pediatric cancer found only in children, and it affects Olivia's eyes. That's where her cancer is. Olivia lost her left eye to cancer right away. She endured a year of chemotherapy, and she's had, how many surgeries have you had? 32 surgeries. So she's very, very tough. And Riley's like a second home for us. And all that they do for children like Olivia just really gives you hope that, you know, one day kids all over can come to Riley and know that they will have a cure, that they will be a success story, that they too can be a testimony at events like this. Just to see her skipping through the halls and going from appointment to appointment, it gives me a lot of comfort, a lot of peace, and knowing that for her, here's this hospital which could normally be very a scary place for kids, but to see her just happy-go-lucky, let's go see this doctor, let's go to this appointment. It's just very, very calm and hopeful there. It's like a second home, and to know that she's comfortable there with all her physicians, doctors. It gives me so much pleasure and so much joy to know that we are in such a great place at Riley Hospital. This is kind of our giving it back. This is our way of paying it forward, that I can bring her and she could first-handly see everybody from U.S. military, the Army, to big sponsors and organizations coming here and seeing them give back. And to her, that's first-hand experience to know what it is to give back. And I think most of the time I get most of that from Olivia, because she does have a good heart and she's such a good giver. So she enjoys events like this. She knows it's for the kids, and I teach her that it is important to help others.
It's so much fun doing things because you get to do a lot of stuff and go to a different station all the time, each and every time. It was so much fun. I did the cards that I did and the stickers. It's hard to think about the other kids, so I decided to get pictures and get them all around the world so the kids can get better and make them smile. I'm a Riley kid and I am a champion.
Hi, we're here with Tony Dungy. Welcome to the
Thank
weekly
you,
special.
Pam.
Thanks for showing up. He is the national spokesperson for the Baskets of Hope, which this year is called Super Baskets of Hope. And we're at Conseco Fieldhouse, and you were just talking how amazing it is, the number of volunteers.
It is unbelievable. This program is basically putting together gift baskets, taking them to children's hospitals. We did it in Riley Hospital here for 10 years. Someone came up with the idea, wouldn't it be great around the Super Bowl to say, let's ship them to all 32 NFL cities.
Right.
So the problem was getting them put together. And as you can see, we're going to do 7,000 baskets. I thought maybe we'd get 50, 100 volunteers. We got 1,000 people saying, hey, I want to help. This is a great cause. It's going to be great for these kids. I'm just overwhelmed by the support we've gotten.
It says a lot about the Hoosier State.
It really does. This is what we're all about. This is what we want to show the country. And I think the Super Bowl is a great setting to do that. All eyes are on Indianapolis. But this is what our community is really all about.
Right. Now, why did you find it important to be here today with the volunteers?
I just want to come and encourage these people. Everyone's going to see the baskets at the end and how they come out, but no one's really going to know what goes into it and all the hard work it takes to put it together. We got a lot of people that donated materials and donated money to get the gifts, and that's great. But the manpower and the desire to say, you know what, I just want to come down and help out. I'll come for 2 hours and stuff baskets. I mean, that's phenomenal to me, so I just want to come and encourage them.
Absolutely. Now, tell us, you've been on the delivery of the baskets with other NFL players. What's one of your most memorable experiences from it?
Every time you go, it's just special. You come in and you know these kids are battling, some of them having the chemotherapy and the treatment sapping their energy, and you just expect to come in there and lift their spirits. They're so energetic and so excited when you deliver the baskets and you get those hugs. you come away so fired up. You know, it's like, when can we come back and do this again? It's been phenomenal.
And that's what I was going to ask you is, what have you taken away from it personally?
You know, what I have is that you have to keep fighting. You got to trust the Lord. And you lose a game on a last-second field goal and you think that's the end of the world, and you go in and you see a young boy or girl kind of fighting that battle to stay alive, and they're so excited about life, you think, hey, our little last-second loss is not a big deal. And yes, it really does. It really does.
Well, thank you for all that you have done. I even got an email from someone in Bloomington that their child was a recipient of a basket, and she just said the uplifting amount of joy they had from it. So
it's really been special. We have enjoyed the whole program. We're so excited about this. And I have to finish with a shout out to the IU basketball team and Coach Crean. I was hoping to get down there and see you guys, but we're so busy doing this. But keep it going. You're having a great year.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
All right.
If you'd like to support Super Baskets of Hope, text RILEY to 90999 to make a donation of $5. That will do it for tonight's show. Thanks so much for joining us for this special Super Bowl edition.
And have a great game day.
Production support for the weekly special is provided by Smithville, a locally owned business serving central and southern Indiana since 1922, with residential and business internet, voice, and security services. Smithville, local pride, global technology. Information at smithville.net. And by WTIU members. Thank you.